Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beneath the Layers. This is episode number 4. Here I have a good friend of mine, Andrew. Met him probably about it will almost be a year now, but I've known him for a little bit while. I got to know him. Really cool guy. Interesting stories, so we're going to get into some of those today. And so I'll let Andrew introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew, and I'm 23 years old, and I'm from Taiwan, I would say, but I'm born in Canada, Vancouver, Canada. I've been in the U.S. for roughly 8 years now, and I came here for high school in LA, and then I stayed, and then I came to San Diego for college, and then I got a job here, and I met where I met Larry, and so. A little bit about my background. So I was born in Canada, but my parents are from Taiwan. So right after I was born in Canada, I moved back to Taiwan so I stayed in Taiwan until I was until grade 2. Yeah, grade 2, and then I moved back to Canada for 2 years. And then I went to China for another 3 years.
Wow.
And then I went back to Taiwan for another 2 years, and then I came to the U.S. for high school. Yeah, so it's
So you've been quite a few places.
Yeah.
So like, what would you say culturally is like the major difference between the few areas that you lived in?
Of course, the biggest difference is the language.
Yeah.
They speak totally different languages, but to the places I've been, like Vancouver, LA, it's all pretty like. There's a lot of Asians there, for example. Yeah. So it wouldn't be that much a difference, but still, like, the culture is totally different.
Yeah.
Like, people speak different languages and different food, different festivals. Everything is like quite different.
Yeah. And so, like, did you find it difficult to transition over from like all these different areas you lived in, especially when you came like to the U.S.? Was that like a hard thing to do?
I think I'm a little bit used to it, but I think. I was really little, so I didn't feel much about moving. The hardest part would probably be like when you go to a new place, you have to make new friends again. And
that's true.
And then if you leave, it's like when you just get to know people around you, and then you just leave them again, and you have to make new friends again.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest part. But I think like social media made it like really great. Not that much.
And now you have like friends in each place now, right?
Yeah, that's like one of the good things. I thought, yeah.
That's true. So I mean, if you had to say like what has been your favorite place? I know you live here now, but like, do you see yourself ever moving to any of the other places moving back to any of the other places, or do you want to stay here?
Good question. For me, I think that like in the future, like probably in my long-term goal, or like 10 years from now or more, I probably won't be in the US.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I would probably be in China, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that's where, I don't know, I think a little bit more comfortable there, and I think the market like shifts towards China a little bit more, and I feel like there's more opportunities there. Like, yeah. And
yeah, I mean, for me, myself, I've like always lived here in California. I mean, I've been to a few places, but I've never really traveled too far out of the country. Just one time I went to England. So I think it's pretty interesting to hear from someone who's lived in multiple places and different types of cultures and stuff like that. So that's really cool. In terms of like, I guess the differences between each of the cultures, like, do you feel like even here in America, you still don't quite fit in, or like you'd fit in maybe better if you're back in or China or Taiwan, or even Vancouver? I know you only lived there for like 2 years, but like, do you feel comfortable here as well? Or like you even now know that you're comfortable in China and that's why you want to kind of like feel like you'd move back over there?
I feel like I'm pretty comfortable here.
Yeah.
I've been here like 8 years now, so like, and it's like the 8 recent years. So that's pretty much like the time where I like grasp the most information and getting to know people. So pretty comfortable here, but like another big reason that I want to go back because it's my family. They are back there, and it's like 12 hours to visit them, and I want to be around them when they're like old.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. I completely understand that. So like, you're pretty like, would you say you're like pretty much by yourself here? And has that been like difficult? Like you rely a lot on your friends for like support and stuff like that since your family's so far away?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I definitely rely on my friends. Yeah, being here alone. First is quite difficult, but I
Yeah.
think I'm getting used to being alone. I can like do my own stuff. I enjoy
That's
my.
true, yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's been times where I struggled when I was now me personally, I wouldn't say like I was ever like extremely close to my family. Like there's some things that I felt like I had to deal with on my own, and like being comfortable being alone, I think that helps with that. You know, like if you're comfortable being by yourself, you're able to kind of like figure things out on your own and work through problems. But there are times where you need like that support, you know, like your friends or your family. And so I know most recently we had a pandemic, so it probably wasn't that easy, but do you like the past 8 years that you've been here, have you been able to see your family a lot, or like maybe them come over here even and visit you?
I was just about to get into that. So yeah, so before the pandemic, I used to like go back home at least twice a year.
Oh, okay.
So it's either like I usually go like during summer vacation and during like Christmas.
Oh, okay.
But now it's because of the pandemic, and another reason is because like when you're working, you don't have that much time to.
That's true, yeah.
Like yeah, so I haven't been home for 2 years now.
2 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's probably the longest time that I haven't seen my family.
Mhm.
But yeah, but I think it's getting better, the pandemic, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting back home soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon you
Yeah.
can visit them.
Yeah.
What were their like? Have they come over here at all?
Yeah, they
Oh,
come here like probably once a year. I
once a
think.
year.
Yeah.
And what were their like impressions of where you live?
Where I live, they
Did they like it? Did they like? I'd rather be home.
I think a little bit of both. I
Yeah.
think they really enjoy. My parents really enjoy traveling,
Okay.
and before I came here, they also like they've also been to the U.S.
Yeah.
like a lot of times. So like my parents like typically they really like the U.S.
Uh-huh.
like the food here.
Yeah.
Compare like other traditional people, like they have to eat their like rice or
Got
like
it,
food,
yeah.
like Chinese food. But my parents are different, so they really enjoy it here.
Well, that's good. I mean, at
Yeah.
least they enjoy it. Like they don't have an issue with coming to visit you, if that was the case or not. So, like growing up, you said you went to high school here, right?
Mhm.
And did you find it? Was that when you started high school? Is when you first arrived here, or when you first got to
Yeah.
LA? Right, LA
Yeah.
was area.
Yeah.
Have you always like started learning English when you were younger, or was that a difficult thing to do? Because I hear that it's a difficult language to learn. Obviously, I don't know because that's my language that I've always spoke. So, but like in your experience, is it pretty difficult?
Yeah. For me, it's compared to other people, it's much more easier because I've been learning English my whole life.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So because in Canada and
Yeah.
I've always been to like in a bilingual or like so-called international school where you like
Okay.
where you like learn Chinese and English at the same time.
Oh, that's
Like
really
you
cool.
get like courses, so you have math courses in Chinese
Yeah.
and English, like biology in both
Oh, really?
languages. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I wish they had more of that here because I don't think
yeah,
I
don't
hear
think
people doing that often.
yeah,
Especially.
yeah, because you know like English is a more international language, like
Yeah.
it's more professional people speak that. So in other parts of the country, most part of the country, I think they have that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, like, I think I remember having a conversation with you a little while back. Maybe I'm remembering it correctly. I'm not sure. But I know right now you're currently, like, in the science community. That's where you work. That's where your job is. But I think I remember you saying if you were to move back, you wouldn't do science. You'd be more of maybe doing something along the lines of business.
Yeah.
What makes you, like, why would you transition to business rather than like staying within the scientific community? Is it different over like elsewhere, or is that just something that you or your family has instilled upon you?
Not that my family has instilled upon me. Science is great, but for me, I like to like work with people more,
I see.
and
Yeah.
so but if you do like science, I know like you can also like interact with people in science, but for me, I like the interaction of going out to places, like
Oh, I see.
traveling around like
I got it.
with work and
Yeah.
and then meeting new people, but you don't get that much that stuff in
Yeah.
like science, especially in like lab work,
Yeah.
research.
You're just in the lab.
Yeah,
all the
just in
time.
the lab, and yeah, I just read papers, and then you probably have some
Yeah.
meetings with people. That's it. But
Yeah.
I really like to enjoy like planning and like doing like strategical planning, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, like in businesses. So
Yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
And I also feel like if you, for me, like most of the thing is like getting famous and getting
Oh,
money.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I want, for me, like my long-term goal is to be like have me remembered
Oh, I see.
in people's mind.
Got
If
it.
that makes sense. So like
You want to
people would know me
Yeah.
as like a influential person
Got
with
it.
like a positive influential person.
Yeah.
So I feel like to get well known, it's better. It's more likely to you could be in business.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Or
that's probably
to get-
true.
Yeah,
Especially since from probably both of our experiences, how competitive the scientific community can be. But like, so has that always been your goal? Is to be, I guess, recognized as a positive influence on, like you? From what it sounds like as a global sort of recognition. And so, what would and you want to do that specifically through, like a business type of way, or like it doesn't matter, like you just want to be well known for something good?
yeah. It doesn't. It doesn't really matter. Like
Yeah.
who I'm remembered of. Business. Haven't really think about that, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's.
What would you say would be some of maybe people that have influenced you?
Yeah, a lot of people have influenced me. So I read like a lot of books.
Yeah.
There's a person, like a Chinese person that really influenced me.
Uh-huh.
So he does he used to do tobacco
Okay.
production
Yeah.
in China, and he's in charge. Like in Chinese Chinese culture, Chinese companies, they are all owned by the government.
Okay.
So it's like a Chinese government tobacco company, and he's been working. He's been assigned as the like kind of like CEO of that company, and
Yeah.
he's been working his whole life, like to that company. And
Yeah.
but these people don't get paid much. So, and his story really influenced me, and
You
I
can,
don't know how to explain that. It's so long.
it's
let's
fine.
not
We
get
have
into that.
time if you want to explain it.
Yeah, so what he influenced me is the main thing is when he was I think like 60 years old, so he, what's the term called when you get something, get money that you can't get, but people like
You get money that you don't get, but people
No, but-
donations type, or
no, like people that, for example, like I'm like CEO of a company, you want something good from me, you give me money underhand, and I accept that. What's that called?
Is there a word for that?
Bribe.
Bribes?
Bribes,
Is it
kinda?
bribes?
Bribes. Okay, so that
Okay.
person, he got a bribe from like another company because they want the tobacco,
Okay, yeah,
and
so
then,
that makes sense.
then
Okay.
it got caught by the government, and he was like he got jailed for like 20 years and everything.
Oh, I see.
His daughter is suicide and everything, but he's worked so hard his entire life and generate like billions of dollars for the government,
Yeah.
but he got paid so little that he has to take the bribe and to
I
like
see.
live a not good life, but like
At least a
life,
comfortable
yeah,
life.
like comfortable life. That's really sad for me. But and so he changed like the Chinese culture a lot,
Oh, really?
like by that thing.
I see.
And so he got jailed for like I think 10 years something, and then he got out, but he didn't give up. He
Yeah.
still wanted to like influence the community, so he started orange farm. So
Orange farm,
and then so his oranges are now like really well known across China, and so and he's like 80 years old.
Oh, really?
When he started it.
Yeah.
So that's really like.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and the way he like deals with like stuff, he's like really. Like he has no idea, have any knowledge about oranges, but he researched a lot, and he like the temperature, the like humidity of the soil and everything, he made it perfect so that he can produce the best oranges. Yeah, I think that's really like influenced me. I think just being that kind of person that everyone known of.
Yeah, I see. Okay, and so that kind of that's kind of like how you in a way want to be remembered as well, is in that sense where somebody can tell a story of you just as you told a story of this guy.
Yeah, that would be great.
So are there anything like what would you say is like something that you like love doing? Like, do you think that you can make that sort of influence on the world with something that you really enjoy doing yourself, or something you just like find enjoyment out of? Or are you still do you feel like you're trying to figure out what that is?
Yeah, I'm trying still to figure out what I'm going to do in the future, and also how I'm going to influence people. Yeah, I'm not sure about that yet. Yeah.
I mean, that's fine, because I feel like that's part of the journey. I mean, the guy you just talked about didn't know until he was like 60, right? 60, 70 years old. I mean, it's never too late. But one thing that I do know that I've definitely noticed, probably from the first time that I met you, is that you absolutely love sports.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So like, what role has sports, whether it's American sports or any type of sports, well, like what kind of role has that played in your life?
Sports in my life, it's just enjoy watching sport and like watching the players you like, the teams you root for, they win, and how they celebrate on the courts. It's just really relaxing, enjoying. Like yeah, I feel like that's like one direction that you can probably take, in terms of pushing yourself to become an influential person, is you take something that you absolutely love and then you apply that to maybe how can you make this better, and then usually that's a good starting point. And I mean, that's part of the reason why I started this podcast in the first place, is I feel like even though I have no idea how to start one, I just sort of bought the equipment and just started talking to people, because I know that one thing that I really like to do is understand people and peel back their layers, like, beneath the layers. That is so great.
And so, I mean, I feel like you a lot of times you just have to take a shot and just see what happens,
What do you think is your goal out of the podcast? Like, what for yourself?
For myself, that's a good question. Honestly, if one person listens to any of the episodes and can take something from it, whether it's something from what the guest has said, so something from what you've said, or something from anything that I've said, then I feel like for me, it's sufficient enough, and it's satisfying, and it makes me happy, just because I can help one person, or the guest that I'm talking with can help one person realize something in their own lives, So that's my goal. I don't really feel like it's a big deal to me if it becomes super big or not. If one person can listen to it and get something out of it, then that's enough for me, I think.
So great.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how I kind of view this whole thing anyways. Yeah, but if I do get famous and stuff, then I can get better equipment. And
you get like what?
Maybe pay the people that help me.
Yeah, behind the scene.
The behind the scenes people and stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way that I see it. Anyways, as far as why I started this journey in the first place, for a second I did want to do I did try to do music. But I'm not very talented in that aspect. Sometimes you got to realize when to just kind of give up.
Have you think about it for a long time, or is it a certain point that you just know that you want to start this? And
the podcast?
Yeah.
I thought about it probably the summer of last year. The only thing was I didn't really have anything to get started. I mean, the only thing I really had was a camera. That was it. I mean, and I love taking pictures and videos too, so that's why I had the camera in the first place. But yeah, about I would say the summer of last year is probably when I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna just work towards trying to put this together, and then I finally just put it together, kind of like I got the stuff for it, but then I didn't really have like, or I didn't know like, oh, who should I just ask? I was a little like kind of hesitant to ask people because I didn't want people to kind of be like, oh, like why are you starting a podcast for, you know? So
I have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
So if you could pick like a person, like any person that you would love to interview, who would be that person?
It's a good question. The first name that sort of came to my mind was Elon Musk, but I know he has a lot of interviews. So I kind of would want to hear from somebody who maybe not a lot of people have heard from before, you know, in like a big sort of production type of way. And I don't really know who that person would be, honestly. You know, you can throw out a bunch of famous people names and stuff, but you probably have heard of them before. One person that I think, and maybe if they're ever hearing this, then you can contact me.
Yeah.
But is this author who writes poetry books, and it's not their real name, and I don't know what their real name is, but their writing name goes by Atticus.
Atticus?
Yeah. And I've read all their poetry. I think it's a guy. I'm pretty sure it's a
It's like
guy.
a mysterious person.
Yeah. I haven't done extensive research. I've just read the poetry books that he's made, and like, I don't think there's one that I don't like.
What kind of poetry?
It's not really like very long. It's like, I think what they call epithets, where they're very short statements, really. It doesn't rhyme all the time. It's just
like
kind of just
about
like a
life,
statement.
kind of? Or?
So in his books, they kind of have sections where, for example, I think in his most recent book, it's called, that he put out, I'm sure he's working on more, but it's called The Truth About Magic. And there's one section for like he'll call magic, or there's one section he'll call darkness, and those poems within that section sort of reflect on that one topic. One's called like adventure. I like that one because I like adventuring. So just, you know, things like that. And I don't think, you know, he's done interviews or anything like that. I mean, I don't even know what he looks like, so
Could
be a she, and I don't even know.
What would be one question that you would ask he or she, him or her?
I would probably ask about the creative process, because I just feel like the way that they write what they say is very like different. Like, you know, you read it and you know it's that person because that's the only person, you know, writes like that or like thinks like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that'd probably be one person I would want to. And
is that where your creativity comes from?
That
the poems that he writes?
You know, probably, and I don't even know it. But I think I don't know. Honestly, for the longest time, I didn't even think I was that creative of a person. It's just kind of things that came to my head, and like I tried to recreate in real life, sort of thing. And would you consider yourself to be like an introverted person?
Yeah,
because
course, definitely.
I definitely was an introverted person growing up, and so very quiet. Didn't really talk much. Even now to this day, like in a group setting, I'm not entirely that talkative, and you know, it's just I kind of have to pick and choose when to join the conversation and stuff. But when it's like a one-on-one setting, like I feel like I'm pretty good at conversating with the individual, because instead of focusing on like an entire group, I can just focus on
one topic, one person,
and just get to that person, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I can relate to you in the introvert type of way.
Yeah, I'm definitely an introvert person. Like, it's hard for me to really know a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I get to know the person, I think, like, I change a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely talk more, and yeah, I think most people realize that.
Yeah.
Like, it takes time for me to know a person.
To warm up to them.
To warm up.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think that like comes from, if you had to guess?
From?
Like, I've
actually really thought about that.
Yeah.
I think is first you need like a similar or like a common thing to really talk about, like an interest or something that you do, either sports or activity that you have to that's really important. And the other thing is like knowing that the other person might be interested of you. I think that's also really important. Like the attitude changes. Like you will know that if you reach out, they wouldn't be like annoyed, or they would actually like really want to talk to you, and then you'll start to open yourself, and then
Do you feel like that's kind of the same in the context of if you wanted to move up in a company, for example? Like a lot of times people are afraid of like asking for a promotion or something like that because probably they don't know where to start with them. And so like once you find like, oh, you know, I'm capable of doing this sort of thing, maybe that's when you go and ask for that promotion or whatever the case might be.
I think like if you think about promotion, I think in a company a really important thing is to get known by everyone, like especially the higher like higher level people. Like you need to really like talk about what you did and talk about your work, and like just really have your name known by everyone, like so that when your name comes up, they will know what you did and what. I think that's really important.
And do you think that's a lot more difficult for some people like us who could be more introverted than extroverted?
That's definitely one really difficult thing for me. Like I know it's just really hard to like really approach people who don't talk as much, and especially if you know that your bosses or your bosses like people that are like in charge, like management levels, it's just really hard to talk, like to chat with them or
and like for me, I know and I recognize that because of that, because when somebody is introverted, they make connections with people, and when they make that connection with somebody, they warm up to them and everything, become comfortable with them. Let's say that person has to move away, that definitely takes a lot more effect on them, because you know, I feel like introverted people always feel like they've invested so much time into people and created this relationship, and kind of like oh, now I have to do it again with somebody I don't even know, like, you know, all this doubt and question comes into mind. So it's an interesting feeling, you know, I think. Is there something that you do or that you try to do to help with that, like to break out of that sort of introvertedness, if that's even a word? I don't know.
I always think that just don't think much. Just go straight forward to the person you want to like reach out to. Just go and just really be yourself. Like don't think about what they will feel. Like just get what you want. Like go straight to them and just talk about life, everything. It just comes like all together when you like really start reaching out. And because most people are like, they might be also an introvert like you, right?
That's true.
So
they could be.
If you reach out, probably the other person probably also wants to reach out to you, and so it's just take the first step. That's really important.
And so what do you think is like some things that somebody can do to help take that first step? You know, like where can they get the confidence to kind of push themselves to take that step?
Good question. That's actually what I'm looking for. I need the answer to that question. What do you think is a good thing to do or to push yourself?
I think it definitely is a good question. The only thing is, I think that it's different for everybody. And what I mean by that is there's a different motivation behind the actions that are like different people decide to do. And so if they become motivated enough, then they can push themselves to make a certain decision. And so if you can kind of figure out what that is, you know, for example, we were kind of talking about the promotion thing. If you really want that promotion, I think you'll find enough confidence to sort of take that first step and then you'll realize that it wasn't so bad, and you're able to kind of continue that. But one thing that's difficult that I think is difficult in realizing what that motivation is that you kind of, in a sense, feel like people are judging you all the time, or
Definitely. Yeah.
you know, and you think that people are watching everything that you do, and so anything that you do, you feel like it's the wrong thing, or it's
Definitely, yeah.
it's like a negative sort of state of mind, and that's kind of difficult to work through, but you can definitely do it. I think everybody has the capability of doing that. It's just a matter of how much you want to do it.
Yeah. Getting the motivation is really important.
Yeah, getting the motivation and figuring out what it is that motivates you in the first place. That's why a lot of people go to the gym and stop going to the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Is because they were going to the gym for a particular reason. A lot of times the reason why they go to the gym, often times more than not, is for another interest that doesn't have to do with themselves. Maybe it's to impress a certain somebody.
Yeah. So the motivation really has to come within.
It has to come within.
Instead of
it can't be an external motivation.
Yeah.
External motivations can help you, but if you're internally motivated, then you will be good to
it's
go.
gonna go. Yeah.
It's gonna go way farther.
Yeah. Because once you reach like an external motivation, it just stops there.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Definitely. I feel like, and another thing is, I feel like building a habit is really important.
Yeah.
Like once you start the first step, you get like to a habit from it, and then everything just comes along. Like,
it does. You just keep building on top.
Yeah, I think everything is like comes down to habit. Like either it's good habit or bad habit.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're 23 years old, right? Would you say that you've kind of discovered more or less of who you are as a person, or are you still in the process of figuring that out? What would you say?
Like what aspects of like my personality? Right?
Like your personality, and does that kind of fit well with what your goals are in life, your ultimate goals are in life? I
think it actually doesn't fit really well, because like I'm a more introvert. And the goals that I'm trying to achieve are normally not what an introvert would do.
Yeah.
Like you probably need to like talk in front of many people, and that's a really, public speaking is really a thing that I'm trying to excel at, especially like at work or like in front of people. That's for me, it's a little bit hard to speak in front of people. Like I get really nervous, and I have to be really prepared to really speak. So
do you think you created that ultimate goal in your mind because whether subconsciously or consciously you consider yourself to be introverted, so you kind of created this goal like that you wanted to become this person because of who you are today, like in today's time?
That actually, I've never thought that may be, but like thinking now, that might be one of the reasons. Like having the goal and knowing that I want to be more of an extrovert, so that I might have that goal, and trying to just speak more in front of people, like not being shy every time, and just I think that's really
I mean, I feel like you can definitely achieve that, and it's kind of like sports, playing a sport. The more you practice it, the better you get. It's the same with public speaking. It's the same with a lot of things, honestly. The more you do it, the more the better you get. And the hard part is, of course, starting. And when you start, you're never going to feel like you did the best. You're always going to feel like, but instead of like thinking so negatively about it, like I never want to do that again, you just kind of have to go and be like, well, the next time I have this opportunity, I'll just make sure it's a little bit better. And as long as you're making sure it's a little bit better, eventually it'll be really good, Like this podcast, like these first couple episodes are probably going to be pretty terrible. But, eventually I'm sure they'll get a lot more.
You just need
better.
1% every time.
I mean, as long as you improve 1% every time, then exactly, it'll be good, I think. Anyways.
That's
That'll be
also
good.
one thing about habit. Like,
Yeah, it's a habit. You're right about that.
Just keep the habit going on. You would never like realize how much the difference it makes.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you actually is, because I've known you for almost a year now, and I feel like from what I've seen, you seem pretty hard on yourself. Would you say that that's true or not?
Hard? I don't think so, but
You don't think so?
I don't think,
Like if you were to do something, then you just think it's bad. You know what I mean?
I think like for me, I want to like try my hardest on everything I do, but of course that's not gonna happen. Like there's like external stuff that would affect how you perform and everything, but I'm trying to put like all the things I do, I try to like at least just give like 100% effort I have, but you know, like everyone know, it's this difficult. Like sometimes you like if you really want to, like for example, I'm preparing for a test right now, and I just want, for me, like I've set a goal like to at least like go through some practice questions every day, but you know, like if like a certain day, like a big game that I'm watching comes up, you won't have enough time. So that's true. That like these little stuff that would affect you, it's just really difficult to, but I don't think I'm like really hard on myself, but
that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a good level of being hard on yourself, you know, when you feel like maybe you thought you gave enough effort, but you realize that you didn't, and it's like, why did I do that? And you kind of just look back and you're just like, well, I can do this better, you know? It's just like constant progress, constant improvement. And, you know, similar like everything else, you're practicing these questions for the test. The more you practice, the better you'll get, right?
Yeah.
Is there some like external thing that motivates you to sort of accomplish your goals, or like do your best, essentially, like you mentioned, like to try your best all the time? Is there a motivation behind that, or is that just your character, that's who you are? And
I just feel like because you can only live once, so why don't live it like never regret anything that you do. Like I think I don't want to regret anything that I did, so I want to put in like 100% effort every time. So I hate like regretting stuff, but
that's the worst.
Like you know you can do it better, like something, and you just didn't. You it's definitely.
Is there anything that you regret now?
I should have.
Shouldn't have done this podcast.
So I should have studied harder in college. That's really one thing that I was totally playing around during college. Played too much during college, definitely, and it's too late when I realized. But I mean,
so are you like, is this test to like go back to school, or is that something you want to do? You want to go back to school?
I want to go back to school because I feel like I need to learn more to achieve my goals.
That's true. Now, are you going back to school for something like scientific related, or is this going to be more towards your ultimate goal?
I'm actually really still thinking about how I should go back to school about, because I feel like I'm probably gonna get like an MBA, but you know, everyone gets an MBA now. It's like literally everyone does an MBA, and I feel like if you want to go study something, I would as well want it to be like more professional, like a certain skill that you have.
That makes sense.
Instead of getting like a more general education, like MBA, like where I feel like business, you don't really have to get an MBA. I think it's only the title that is really important, and also like the network that you create at school.
That's true.
But I'm still thinking about
still deciding, but you know, you want to go back to school. You're just
at least
sure
sometime in the future. That's really important for me.
Do you think, like, I know that's important for you, do you think like school is something that everybody should do or has to do, or do you think it's just dependent upon what you want to do in the future?
It really depends. Like many people, like of course, you know, like those most successful people, or like not
they all drop
like
out of college or something.
They all drop out. They didn't have college experience. They just you know, I think education is really important. Like you know, you really have to learn. It's not like the 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 math, the physics that you're going to learn is the how you interact with people, and like knowing what's right and wrong. That's really important. Like the morals. That's just really important. And I think that you only get like when you like meet more people, like in education, especially. Yeah.
So, what would you tell like somebody who might be an introverted person like yourself, or like me, and they're sort of struggling on, making decisions like that, like whether to go back to school or whether to, put that first step forward? Like, what's something that you would advise them to do? Maybe based off of something you experienced, like maybe you took a step somewhere and realized like, oh, like I can do this sort of thing. Like, what's something that you can tell them and to help them sort of decide, or help, maybe they can try and it will help them decide something for themselves as well.
So one thing I always do is I would think like what you get out of like on your decisions, like either go to school or not go to school. Like think about like 5 years later, if you really went to school, if you didn't went to school, like would you regret if you choose one particular thing over the other? Like just like doing more thinking about, I think like really reflect upon yourself and like just, and also reading books, everything. I think just like getting to know more about yourself, that's really important, like what you like want to do in the future. And and also one thing is just think about what makes you happier, and just no regrets. I think that's really important.
No, that is important. So let me ask you, do you think that you are currently happy, or that you're living a happy life?
I'm living a happy life, I think.
That's great.
I think everyone should live a happy life. That's really important.
So like what helps you realize and recognize that I am living a happy life?
Just I think looking forward to tomorrow. That's really important. Like you know that future is there, like and then you're looking forward to it, and then you have confidence, like you know you can achieve like things that makes you happy, big things. I think that's really important. I think looking forward to tomorrow, that's a good way
to put it. I like that.
Being happy.
That's a really good way to put it. I think you hear that a lot, but I feel like you don't hear it in that context. Like you'll like if you feel like you're looking forward to tomorrow, you're happy, sort of thing. I think that's a good way to put it.
There's a lot of things that I think everyone is different. Like for me, definitely.
Rather than looking forward than dreading, right?
Of course. Like definitely.
You like to travel a lot. What's like your favorite place that you've been to?
Oh, favorite place.
At least that
like
you've been to
food,
so far.
Food
if you
anything?
Sure. Well, we'll put it like this. If you had to say the favorite place you've gone to, just like overall, and like the favorite place that you've been that had the best food, in terms of like either country or city or state or whatever.
Best food, probably Japan. I think.
Japan?
Wow. Japan has the best food, definitely.
I definitely need to go to Japan.
I think it's my preference as well. I like Japanese food really a lot. Yeah.
So if you like burgers, you'd come to America, or what?
Yeah, of course. Burgers probably like California or New York probably is the place to go. Yeah.
What about overall, like just either like, culturally, the way it looked, the things that you did there, the cool things they had?
Wow, there's so many places that I really enjoy.
Like if I was like, Andrew, I'm gonna take a week off. I'm gonna travel somewhere. Where should I go?
Do you like city or do you like
I like both.
You like both? It's
I like both.
It's really hard to get both though. Like if you like city, like
okay, we'll
Japan,
split into that. So city, Japan.
And then but if you like an environment like outdoor, wow, it's so hard. I mean, the one place that I've been recently is Banff, like Canada.
Oh, Banff
Calgary.
National Park.
That's
in
like
Canada.
so beautiful. It's unbelievable, and you can go ski there.
Yeah.
The views are just incredible. Like it's.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list, like top on my list. I definitely want to go there, Canada.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy the outdoors. I maybe I like to. I like the outdoors a little more than the city, but I do like the city.
Yeah, I like outdoors much more than city. Yeah. Just enjoying like the nature and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And it was great talking to you. I think we had some pretty good conversation. And I got to know a lot more about you. So thank you.
Thank you.
And we will see you next week. Goodbye. I don't even